Hello and welcome to the TechBytes audiocast. My name's Tim and I'm from the TechBytes blogazine, and with me is Dr. Roy Shestowitz from the TechBytes website.
It's Friday night and I'm gonna get sauce. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. He tried to boss me and was outbossed. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. Underneath his Freebird Bridge, hoping goats will cross. Quoting Ashcroft and Tom Ridge, I fought the troll and the...
So welcome to episode 8 of the TechBytes audiocast. I'm Tim from OpenBytes. I'm with Roy and with a special guest as well today, Gordon Sinclair. People may know him on the web as ThistleWeb, and we'll be speaking to him very, very shortly. Today's audiocast is a quite unique one. Not only is it going to be a three-way conversation, but we're covering most of the UK. I'm currently recording from down in London. Roy is Manchester, which is sort of middle of England, UK, and then we've got Gordon, who's up in Scotland. So we're covering the breadth of the country and the United Kingdom. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to cover a few bits of news with Roy, and then we're going to go on to a discussion about Linux Mint, which is a topic which both myself and Roy have wanted to discuss. It's a distribution which has had a lot of praise and got a lot of support, and it's a discussion that we're going to be having with Gordon, Roy, and myself after Roy's covered the main news. So, with that in mind, let's move over to Roy. And Roy, if it's all working, you should say hello to me and start with your roundup of the articles that interest you today.
Yeah, sure. I think we don't really have any special news because it's a Monday. It's just after the weekend. But one of the things that caught my eye, and a person from the site sent me a link to, was a company called Avaya or Avaya. I'm not sure how you pronounce the name. They basically dropped Microsoft IP Office 6.1, and they moved to Linux instead, which made the person who sent me this link thought it was pretty exciting news. And I was pretty ecstatic when I saw the news. I think it's more of a symbolic gesture in showing how Linux is replacing, based on price, it's replacing the Microsoft products, mostly Office in this case, or Windows in general. And usually when you drop Office, you may as well drop Windows sooner or later. And this actually relates to some of the other stories I wrote about, and that's mostly to do with patents, because the aggression basically continues. We spoke at the end of last week. We talked about the European patent and how Microsoft tries to legalize software patents in all sorts of places. Some people say in preparation to filing for legal action around the world, and before they do something too aggressive, they want to ensure they can capture all the companies and all the vendors who use the software. So basically, we probably should keep it for a later part of the show if we're going to go into a debate, but patents are the main issue now with Oracle, mainly Oracle, Apple and Microsoft trying to target Android, but also trying to attack the Linux part of it. I think that's the main news. I can go into smaller stories, but I think we should do this later. And first talk about the special release of as far as I know, it's Linux Mint 10, and the code name is Julia. Is this true or?
Well, I'll bring Gordon in here officially, so because Gordon's been sitting very patiently waiting to speak. So, Gordon, are you there? Hopefully, all being well.
I am here, yes. Hi, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Right. So we're going to have a discussion about Linux Mint, and Gordon, you're the resident expert here because it's a distribution that I've only touched on. I've literally used it for a couple of days when I've been looking at it. I'm very guilty of that.
Well, first thing to point out is I'm only speaking on behalf of myself. I'm not speaking on behalf of Linux Mint. But yes, I am very much a Linux Mint advocate. Yes, and I screencast with Linux Mint and whatever. And yes, the code name is Julia.
Well, Roy, over to you. I think you've got you want to start off the discussion, and so we'll kick it off with you and Roy, and I'll sit on the back burner for a bit and take it easy. So, Roy, over to you.
Yeah, I heard, I've been reading quite a few reviews about the release, and one of the things that caught my eyes is that they had to move data centers, and at the same time they were talking about breaking records or having very unexpected demand for the distribution. Lots of people downloading the distribution. And I think quite a few people who've been using Ubuntu and trying to get something with the codecs and all sorts of proprietary software installed are those who tend to explore their possibilities with Mint. I'm just wondering, Gordon, what your opinion on people who Mint is going to be suitable for?
Well, I mean, realistically, see, the way I see it is, in an ideal world, the world that FOSS advocates aim for is for a world where the whole web experience is open to you, the whole multimedia experience is open to you with free codecs and with free drivers and all of that. That's great to work towards. Unfortunately, you have a choice. You can either stick to those principles and cut yourself off from large parts of websites and services that refuse to do anything in, for example, OGG or WebM or whatever. And you can either cut yourself off from that or say, I want a computer that's going to do all of those things. And for that, unfortunately, you need the codecs, you need MP3, you need Flash, that type of thing. That's the choice that you make, essentially. And the way I look at it is, for regular users, there's an uphill battle there to educate them without lecturing them about freedom and all this kind of stuff. That for me can come later. But to actually get them onto Linux in the first place, realistically, you're going to have to do the whole. Their computer is going to have to be able to play MP3. It's going to be able to play Flash. They're not going to like it if they go to YouTube and it doesn't work. They're not going to like it if they plug in their MP3 player and transfer files across and it doesn't work. So for that, you can either do it the sort of the Windows type approach, where you've got the basic install, and then you've got to find a way later on, or post install, of adding the various codecs, or you can do it the Linux Mint way, which is essentially accepting the fact that people, not everyone, obviously not everyone, but regular Joes are going to want to do that. So you set that out for them already in the ISO, already there for the first boot. So that's one element of Mint. It makes that step easier for a new user. If they're used to doing that stuff on Windows, they boot into Linux Mint, and they can still do all that stuff. Admittedly, some distributions make it easier to do that, and some don't. Debian have got their own repos. Fedora, I believe, have RPM Fusion, I think. But you have to do that post-install. Ubuntu has in 10.10, I think they now have an option to click to install them all during the install process, which is a little bit different to the way the Linux Mint do it, but that's fine. Realistically, I think most regular people want those features.
If I could just add, sorry, Roy, before you come in there. I mean, it's one of the things that hooked me on Sabian. I've said before, I said in the IRC channel quite a few times, I'm not quite sure why I settled on Sabian in place of, say, Ubuntu instead of Linux Mint, because really they're very much the same in the respect of that the things that I choose to use, the proprietary drivers and software, are all sort of handed to me on the plate, which is what I require. And I mean, I certainly look at it from the point of view of Gordon, in that I like to have the choice, and whilst it's not ideal to have, in my opinion, some of these things installed, it's a means to an end. And certainly in respect of new users, I think if you're going to give them a life-changing or a computer life-changing thing like moving from Windows, it needs to be